Hello, dear students. This is me, your teacher, Farhad. Welcome to my channel, FMMT Medical Tutorial. Dear students, today the topic which I have selected for you guys to teach you is skin. So, what is skin actually? So, come to know about it, okay? Skin is also called as cutis, and the more formal name of skin is cutaneous membrane, okay. And skin is actually the covering of human body, okay, which cover it from the external environment so that the internal organs and internal parts of the human body should get protected from the external factors, okay, or physical agents. And a skin is considered as the largest sensory organ, okay. Largest sensory organ mean this is an organ, and it do what it sense, or do the work of touch for human body, okay. And it is largest in size, okay, as compared to other organ of the human body. And it has many functions, such as like it felt, okay, and also like it do what, protect our body from microorganisms, and also from physical damages. And skin is divided into two regions, okay. One is epidermis and the other one is dermis. And dermis is attached to an underlying layer, okay. And that underlying layer is called hypodermis, and the second name of that hypodermis is subcutaneous layer, okay. So you will see the picture of these layer in a moment. Now this is that picture which I was talking about, okay. And this is a general picture, okay, which I have made it easy for you guys. See the layer which is yellow, okay, that is actually epidermis layer, and it is the top layer of the skin. So it is also called superficial layer of the skin. Mean epidermis is also called superficial layer because it is the top layer of the skin, okay. And keep in mind that it is the outermost layer, okay. Mean that you can see this layer of the skin with your eyes. And it is made from the stratified squamous epithelial tissue. Once again, keep in mind that epidermis layer of the skin is made up of stratified squamous epithelial tissue. Squamous mean a round shape, okay, and stratified mean many layer, okay. So this stratified squamous epithelial tissue mean that that epithelial tissue which is actually made from many layer of round or disc shaped cells, okay. And below the epidermis is another layer, and that we called as dermis, okay. And the second name of dermis is deep layer of the skin because it is a bit deeper, okay, as compared to the epidermis layer, okay. And this layer is made up of connective tissue, and connective tissue is that tissue actually which brings connection, okay. And below the dermis there is an other layer that we call as hypodermis, and the other name of that is subcutaneous layer, which I told you about in the previous slide, okay. And this layer of the skin is also made up of connective tissue, but the connective tissue of hypodermis layer is different from the connective tissue of dermis layer or deeper layer, okay. Now dear students, come to see the actual picture of the skin. Here you can see epidermis on the top, and below that you can see dermis, okay. And below that you can see subcutaneous layer or tissue, okay. So in epidermis layer you can see the terminal ends of the sensory nerves, and you can see the ducts which comes from the sweat gland, and you can see the ends of the hair and some other parts, okay. And in the dermis layer you can see the nerve fibers, capillaries and arteries, and the sweat gland you can see here. And in the subcutaneous layer or hypodermis layer you can see the bed of nerve, the bed of blood vessels, mean main arteries you can see there, and adipocyte cells you can see that there, okay, which are fell off the fates, okay. That is why this hypodermis look like yellow in color, okay. And one thing, the very important which I left in the dermis layer is a muscle actually, and that muscle is actually called the erectile muscle, okay, and that is connected with your hair, okay, which always keep your hair erect, okay. And the hair follicle, from which the main body of the hair actually originates, okay. Now dear students, come to know the difference between epidermis layer and dermis layer, okay. So epidermis layer is the thin layer of the skin, but on other hand the dermis is thick layer of the skin, and epidermis is the top and outer layer of the skin, and because of this reason we also call epidermis layer a superficial layer, and the dermis layer is a deep or lower layer, okay. So that is why it is also called deeper layer, okay, of the skin. And epidermis layer is made up of epithelial tissue, and more specifically from the stratified epithelial tissue, and the dermis layer is made up of connective tissue. And keep in mind that epidermis layer is avascular, mean it does not have any blood vessel, but on other hand dermis layer is vascular, mean it contain blood vessels such as arterioles and venules, okay. And the cells of epidermis layer contain the melanin, which is a color pigment, okay, but on other hand dermis layer or the cell of it does not contain melanin. And along with blood vessels, dermis layer of the skin also contain nerves or nerve fiber and lymphatics vessel, hairs, hair follicle and glands, okay. Now dear students, in this slide you will get familiar with the functions or job of the skin. So keep in mind dear students that it also provide you immunity, means skin also provide you immunity, mean first line of defense from the pathogenic agent, so resulting at prevent the entry of microorganisms, okay, to your body. And also make vitamin D, okay, because it contains many precursor for the synthesis of vitamin D. And sensory organ, it is also called sensory organ or organ of touch, because it contains many sensory nerves which felt or sense the agents which touches your skin. And also it maintain your body temperature, which is called thermoregulation, and because of this we also call skin thermoregulatory organ of the human body. And it also expel and excrete waste product or sweat, which is produced by sweat gland of the skin. Now here you can see the layers of epidermis and dermis layer of the skin. So keep in mind dear students that epidermis layer of the skin, it contain 5 layers, okay. The first layer, which is the top one, is stratum corneum, okay. Stratum here mean layer, okay, and corneum is actually the name of that layer which is on the top, okay. And stratum lucidum, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum and stratum basale, okay. And your dermis layer of the skin is actually having 2 layer, okay. The one is papillary layer, the upper one, and the other one is reticular layer, which is the lower one, but actually it contain many actually it contain a network of blood vessels, or network of blood vessels, uh, lymphatics, nerves fibers, etc. So, dear students, this was the end of your topic skin. I hope you would have got the main idea of it. Okay, dear students, I will make other videos on it. So, if you like it, so must do comment, and also share and subscribe my channel.